So we're missing a chicken. We had one get taken out last night. And I've got the game camera set up to catch the predator coming in and out of that hole. So this is the top of the building that the chickens are in. And I was going to set up a observation point on the top. But as you can see, that slope's just too big, way too dangerous. Okay, so we're basically going to repeat the process from what we did last week, except for the fact that we are going to remove this little window. I was originally thinking I was going to be able to use the other false drag to create this, but because of the angle that this is on, if this draft angle were going this way, which would be ridiculous, you're cutting down on your surface area there. But if the draft angle went the other way, we could have got around that, because we could have laid this in place and then round all this up, and then the parting line would be on the outside. Are you with me? But because the draft angle goes this way, the parting line is going to be on the inside for that dog bone. We can't just ram this. Remember, we got a little follow block that goes up under there. And I said in last week's video that this helps strengthen the pattern as we ram it. It doesn't let it collapse as we're ramming that pressure on the outside of it. But it also serves as a parting line for this window. So the sand will only get rammed this far. Along with it won't be going up under the pattern. Now once we flip this over, this is going to be the false drag, and we are going to block this up just like we did last week to centralize this between the height of two flasks. I'm not going to worry too much about the mesh size of this sand. All this is for is to hold this, or to cradle it and keep it level and keep it solid as we ram it up for the other sides. Not worried about getting this layer of that tight, but now the next layer I will. Alright, that fan's got to come on. I'll keep it down low, but I got to get some circulation going out here. I don't want to hit our pattern. Now this has to be used 3 times. Boy, these mosquitoes are bad. I have never seen them this bad, and as far as I know, we don't have any standing water around here. If they get to biting me like they did yesterday, I'm going to be wearing some off. It is hot, but I'm not complaining. It could be worse. I could be in New Mexico. I found out that's hotter. Alright, so now to flip the entire mold. Do away with that. we're done with that now. We're going to be removing this piece here in a minute. Man, this is going to be a rough day. Alright, so I'm going to go down as close to the edge of that box as I can right here to where I'm at the, right here at the parting line. And let's see if that'll come up. It should, yep. So I'm going to kind of put a hip on this all the way around. I'm going to cut it down some more in a minute, but right now I'm just kind of working this down as I go. Now we're going to pull this block out. Alright, so now you see it left our window there and the draft angle is in the right location. When I was on the road trip with Keith and Mike, we got talking about a lot of stuff, and we were talking about tea cakes. I don't know how we got started on that, but I love tea cakes, and if you've never had one, you don't know what you're missing. When I was a kid, we used to have this lady named Miss Anna, and Miss Anna made the best tea cakes. Miss Anna was also 4'3" woman in church. If you get out of line, if your parents don't do anything about it, Miss Anna will. So we always tried to avoid Miss Anna. And she always sat behind me in church. This one particular weekday, she lived in a little house, right, which is still there, right across from the road from the church. And she saw me coming down the road. I was just walking. We used to have a little store right there. And she yelled at me. She said, "Come here!" It scared me to death. What have I done? She said, "Hold on a second." She went in there and she gave me this great big bread sack full of tea cakes. And she pointed at me and she said, "I want you to take those to your house and I want you to share those with your little brother. Do you understand me?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." I had like a mile to go down the road. I ate every one of those tea cakes. And that following Sunday at church, that's what it was. We were talking about guilty conscience. I said, if I ever had a guilty conscience, it was then. When the preacher said the prayer, I turned around and I looked. Man, she was looking dead at me. I knew. She knew. Yeah, Miss Anna, she made the best tea cakes. And I always, you know, when someone would die, us kids would hang out in the refreshment room, and we always knew Miss Anna would be bringing tea cakes. So I always look forward to somebody dying. We eat on those things all during the whole service until our parents come to get us. I'm leaving a little bit of a ledge here. I don't want to come straight down with them. You follow me? I'm trying to leave a little bit of a hump, just like I did here, and then come down. Of course, I'm not going to be able to avoid it here on that flange. Now, once I get this where I like it, where I got enough slope, I'm going to get my slick and I'm going to harden the entire area here. See that? That's what I meant to do here. See, I'm giving it a good flat plane all the way down to the inside of that flask. And this is going to be my porting line. So I think that's pretty good. I'm going to flip it up on the edge, and I'm going to do this off camera just to speed things up. Alright, so I think that's pretty good. Now that I've done that, I need to lightly wrap this and make sure it's going to come out of the mold. see how that does. Okay. It's loose. I like that. Now, I got to make sure I don't have sweat dripping off my hands. Right now, the pattern is dry, and I want to keep it dry. Okay. Like I said last week, that follow block, we're done with that now. Now, I'm going to flip this, remove the false drag, and then round the other half. That was supposed to stay in there. It didn't. That's all right. All right. Got a few little spots that may be moisture. I gotta be careful because I got that flange right there I don't want to hit. Good enough. I'm gonna flip this. Remove this. We're going to remove that. This is the drag, the new drag, the real drag. Turn it up on the edge, blow it out, burn it out, and set this in place. I'm going to put a radius here and here. Now I'm going to turn it up on edge to do the rest. I have the radiuses on the riser where it intersects the lips of the flange, and then down here I have a runner going from here to here and then feeding in here and here, pretty close to the bottom, and that way it helps prevent any washout that may occur. Alright, so now I'm just going to start making the second and the third mold, repeating the process, and pour these. So each casting with runners, sprue, riser, come to be 30 pounds. A little more. So I have to measure each batch to keep from. That should be it. These have a window in them, so they're not going to be as heavy as the first batch, which had to be 30 pounds. So this is just slightly under it, so I'll let it go at that. Well, we are finished casting these now for grinding and cleaning them up. These three with the windows, they are the last three that we cast. I usually cut the basins off neater than that, but right as I was casting the third one, I realized we were going to be short, and I ended up having to knock all the pouring basins off to throw back in the melt just to finish the sixth one. I was cutting it close. We do have more bronze, but I'd be tapping in the keys end of it to pull this off. I was thinking we'd have a lot more than that. I do have to put some back in Keith's stash. This is what the raw material looked like but when I got it. And originally there were 9 of these half castings or half bearings. And of course half of them had a window, half of them didn't. So I went ahead and just pulled 4 plus 1 that I was going to bust in half and give the other half back to Keith. We ended up using all 5 pieces just to pull this pour off. We poured 180 pounds. Hopefully, when I get through cutting all the little risers, the base, and the gates, the runners off, hopefully that'll come up to be roughly 30 pounds. As I said, the Babbitt had weight to it as well, so I got to factor that in. I'm trying to keep it as fair as I can, but it looks like we're going to use every drop we had, just like the last time we poured these. So on the second one, when I measured that out, I measure the casting after I break it out of the sand, get it all cleaned up, and it comes out to be approximately 30 pounds. So we're not losing any material in this process. All right, so we are finished with this job. This gives them 3 complete bearings. That's all they needed, and this is one half of it, and this is the other half. And as you see in the photograph, they're going to silver solder these together, and from there they will machine it in one solid piece to where it is, sorry, Randy Richards sent me a text, I was just reading it. But yes, from there they will machine it all solid to get the diameter right, and then from there they will cut the solder and put it on the streetcar. There's a lot more to it than that, but you get the idea. But anyway, again, that's the pattern up here, and then each one of these weighs about 30 pounds. It's a little less now that I've cut the gating off. The mosquitoes are really bad out here. Anyway, I hope you have a good remainder of the weekend. And also, next week, we're going to disassemble the South Bend lathe. That should be an interesting video. We're going to get it out of here. And we might be disassembling the metal planer also. But I'm keeping it. The lathe belongs to my buddy Eddie. We're just going to relocate them for now, just to hurry up and get the interior finished. It's taking up a lot of floor space. And honestly, I don't want to bring the metal planer back until we get the line shaft building built, which is not coming up for quite a while yet. But anyway, we will talk to you later. For those who have been asking about the Windy Hill Foundry hats, these are now available on my website, windyhillfoundry.com, under stores, or you can click on the above link. These are on the pricey side, but keep in mind the shipping is included. Have a good day.